What's up, guys? Coming at you from Shenzhen, and I'm on the road on my way to Zhongshan to my brewery install to see how things are going. And I'm driving my RV because a bunch of guys over there wanted to check it out. And I thought on my way I'd fire up the camera and make a video. Not only because I haven't made one in a while, but because there was an interesting story that I posted on my Twitter side that was, I know a lot of you guys follow me on Twitter, but I thought this was interesting, entertaining, funny, sad, all of those things wrapped up together. Enough so to make a quick, short video about it. And this is about a note that was found in a pair of North Face shoes. And that note said something along the lines of, I'm in a Chinese prison, please help Uyghur, something like that. And Adrien Zentz, a lot of you know who he is. Adrien Zentz ended up retweeting the story, very, very concerned about it, wanting to investigate it more, wanting to, find out more about this slave labor. And the thing probably to keep in mind is that whoever put this note in the shoe probably read the report from ASPI or knows about the ASPI report. ASPI is the think tank, the one I made a video about before. It's an organization that's funded by the military-industrial complex, like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, companies like this. And they have a bunch of analysts writing stories about the China threat. And then on the back end, they end up selling equipment to governments, military equipment, to counter that China threat story, the same one that they're pushing. Massive conflict of interest. But anyways, they did this piece. They did this piece on forced Uyghur labor. And North Face was one of the companies that pushed back. They were one of the companies that pushed back and said, we're not even dealing with this factory that you're talking about. So whoever did this hoax probably should have chosen a company that didn't push back as much. It would have been a little bit more believable. It still would have been ridiculous, but at least it would have been a little bit more believable. The reason I call it a hoax too is because these shoes, they weren't even made in China. They were made in Vietnam. The person could have just opened up the label and seen where they were made. Or and Adrien Zentz could have gone on any website who's selling these shoes, atrocious looking shoes I might add, and see that it was made in Vietnam. And so the importance of mentioning Adrien Zentz and the action of him retweeting this is that he's the guy, he's one of the main guys who's pushing this Uyghur genocide, Uyghur forced sterilization, all of this anti-China, Xinjiang-based propaganda. And now you can see for yourself how ridiculous he is. How low the threshold is for him to tweet something like this out to his followers. How little of an ability, how low his ability is to do some simple research, or just his logical thinking skills to look at this and say, come on, this is a bit too ridiculous. But the problem is people have been getting away with ridiculous stuff for a long time that they don't even try anymore. It just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. And people who want to believe it are going to believe it. You don't even have to try that hard anymore. It reminds me of a story, I think it was from like November or December last year, when there was a Christmas card that was sold in Tesco. And at home, the daughter of the family who bought it, a 6-year-old girl, opens it up and reads the note and reads something inside and starts laughing. He says, Daddy, this Christmas card already has something written in it. And so the dad looks at it and he says, oh my God. He reads the note and it says, hi, I'm stuck in a Chinese prison labor camp and I need help. Please contact, I think it was Peter Humphreys. Please contact this journalist. And he even knew which outlet he worked at ft.com, gave the URL and said, please contact this guy. And magically, the guy lived with just an hour's driving distance from where the card was sold. The card was sold in a town or a district called Luting or something like that, or Tooting. And the journalist, Peter Humphreys, it's something Humphreys, I'm pretty sure it's Peter Humphreys, was in Surrey. An hour's drive. So you had this card that was written and addressed to the most obscure journalist that nobody had ever heard of. And of all the Christmas celebrating countries in the world, that ended up selling within an hour's drive of this guy. And this is a guy, so this guy, he has a bit of an interesting story. He himself was in prison in China. He was accused of apparently harvesting Chinese data on Chinese citizens and reselling it, something along the lines of that. He did a little bit of time, but he was released and he went back, and he's been trying to get a lot of attention since then about his story, but I don't think anybody really cared that much. But now all of a sudden he has this huge story that he can break because somebody from a Chinese prison labor camp addressed a Christmas card to him that was magically delivered within an hour's driving distance from him, which made his ability to break this story so much more easy. And out of all the people involved, out of all the media outlets, it ran in France, it ran in England, it ran in the US, out of all the media companies, it was only that one 6-year-old girl who, when she was reading the card, she was the one laughing, and she was the one who said the words, "I thought it was a hoax." And then everybody else around her, the whole system, just completely knocked that critical thinking ability out of her and said, no, this is serious. And they're training this little girl to be able to grow up and be just like them and believe all the most random crap out there, as long as it's about something you want to believe. And the importance of this story, talking about the stories, because I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I think, Adrien Zentz, he made a slight pivot to Tibet for a little while there, which is concerning. Because it coincides with a lot of additional funding that the overseas Tibetan, like Free Tibet crowd groups have received. They've gotten some huge new grants from the U.S. government, and then all of a sudden, Adrien Zentz starts focusing on Tibet also. Adrien Zentz receives funding from U.S. NGOs, so if he, smells a little bit of an opportunity there, he's definitely going to go over in that direction. I've done a lot of stuff on Tibet. I've visited Tibet twice, and I recently read a book that debunked a lot of the Tibetan propaganda. The book is really good. It's called Battlefield Tibet, and I highly recommend you guys read the whole thing. But I made a thread. If you don't want to read the whole thing, I made a thread highlighting some key points. I left out some really juicy stuff also. For example, the Dalai Lama's troubling connection and synergies with Nazi Party members. But there's still a lot of juice in there, and you guys can check it out. And I'm quite proud of it because actually it ended up getting me some coverage in Voice of America in India. Voice of America is one of the U.S. government's Cold War propaganda tools. It's basically a CIA propaganda outlet, and I was mentioned on it, and I can't tell you guys how proud that made me to see somebody come up on Voice of America and mention me as an enemy, basically an enemy of American propaganda. I mean, that's one of the biggest accomplishments I've made since I've started my channel. And so if you want to see what all the ruckus is about, check out that thread. I will put it in the description. But there's been quite an entertaining response to it, and I'm going to be doing some follow-up videos because again, I really do think there's going to be a situation here where the Free Tibet crowd is going to be re-weaponized very, very soon. They gave up on a lot of their old propaganda before, but I think you can expect to see that they're going to be back on the scene soon. I'll wrap this up by saying, other than that being the main lesson here, to stay alert, guys, I had a little bit of fun with the posting of the random notes found in products, and I took one of my beer glasses for my Gaoji Wumao, the high-level Wumao red ale. I made a special edition beer to celebrate how many times I've been called Wumao, and I posted something on Twitter that I found a note, and the note was from a Chinese factory worker who wanted to bring attention to the fact that he found out his name was used in the American elections to vote for Biden, and now he's in a problem. He's in a bind because he's probably going to lose his job soon because Biden was elected, because the factory that he works for makes a lot of Make America Great Again MAGA gear. It got quite a lot of attention. I thought it was good. I mean, it ties into so many ridiculous things. The idea of finding a random note in a product that could have been written by anybody. Poking fun at the whole election, all the discussions about the election scandals, and poking fun at the fact that so much of the Make America Great Again gear was made in China. So I thought it was kind of funny. I'll put the link to that tweet in the description also. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to focus on getting across this bridge here and getting to the factory. I might make a video at the factory when I get there, because I know I left some of you guys hanging on the last brewery video I made about how to get that malt mill up to the second floor. I didn't show you guys that getting up to the second floor and a bunch of other stuff. But either way, whether I make a video there or not, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.